Okay, the liver is the largest internal organ. We cover it in digestion because the liver makes bile. Without bile, a person cannot break down fat. In fact, liver issues produce what are called, if a person has liver trouble, that person has white stools. It's actually called steatorrhea because of the inability of the liver not only processing bile pigments, but inability to break down fat. All right, here is the whole lower digestive system. This yellowish looking drape, if you can tell, see how it covers the front? That's actually called, I'm going to click on it, the greater omentum. And what it's supposed to do, it keeps these in place. It's got some arteries and veins that run to it. A portion called the mesentery actually holds all the intestines together. But apparently it kind of moves around if there's an infection. It helps seal off an infection. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Here is the colon. You can see the cecum, the ascending colon, the transverse, the descending colon, and then if you turn it this way, you can see there, I'll highlight it. That's the sigmoid colon and the rectum. And then all of this in the middle would be the small intestine. So what we want to do, got ahead of myself, is the liver. So I'm going to take away the bones. Here is the esophagus, and you can see where it comes down and attaches to the stomach. You can see the rugae inside the stomach. There's the duodenum connecting, so this is the pyloric region. Up here is the lower esophageal sphincter, and we've kind of talked about all that. So here's the liver. So when I click on, I'm going to leave this little overhead, right beside me. It says liver. Now, it's actually getting very specific. This is the left lobe, and it's got left anterior lateral segment, left posterior lateral segment, but this is called the left lobe. All of this over here, this big section, is the right lobe. So it looks like it's got a medial segment, a superior, posterior medial segment. Of course, we don't get that detailed. This is the right lobe. This is the left lobe. Now, this is a ligament. See, it says falciform ligament. Kind of separates the liver doesn't separate it equally. The liver is amazing. It has the ability to regenerate. If you cut off a portion of the liver, it will actually grow back. If you go on the back here, and I'll do my best, up here at the top, you see that it says caudate lobe, which is a small lobe there. And I'm actually going to click on the pancreas. I'm about to really uncover all of this. There's a ligament that's actually holding it in place. Lesser omentum in the back. Then I'm going to take care of the stomach. Pancreatic duct, that's interesting. Look at that. Comes off that way. That's the duct that goes down and connects. You can actually see, I have this right here, you can see where the pancreas connects. I'm going to take away that. And then I'm also gonna, you know what, I want that back, but that's okay. I'm gonna leave this here, and I'm gonna take away the stomach at the top. Okay, I just wanted to show you so you could get an idea of where the liver is located. Now, right by the liver, there is and it says the quadrate lobe with a Q. Here is the hepatic duct that goes up into the liver. This is the gallbladder. You can see where it's situated. It's kind of poking down here. And then this is the cystic duct. And these two merge together like this to form what's called the common bile duct. And this is the gallbladder. And the reason the liver is covered in digestion is the liver makes bile. The bile is produced by liver cells. They're little bile ducts that get collected in the liver. It drains this way, and then the way it works, there is actually a sphincter down here and this is the duodenum. There's a sphincter down here called the pancreatic hepatic sphincter. It controls the bile going into the duodenum. So that's closed. Bile is produced in the liver. It then backs up into the gallbladder here. And I'm going to just make it green again. And so the gallbladder stores the bile. And then when fat enters this area of the duodenum, chyme, which is what is left of the digested food in the stomach, if it has fat in it, when it enters this area, there's a hormone called cholecystokinin, CCK. It gets released in response to fat entering that area. And as a result, the gallbladder will then constrict. This little sphincter down here relaxes, and the bile flows down into this area to help with fat digestion. Bile does not break down triglycerides or fat molecules. It actually breaks down these fat globules. Fat sticks together, and the bile coats the globules and breaks them down to smaller pieces, just like how detergent works. And then the little lipid enzymes can then break down the fat molecules. So a little introduction on the liver and also the gallbladder. So I'll give you the tour of this. So here's and this is a good picture. And you have a video for this as well. So here is the left lobe, big ligament found between, it's called the falciform ligament. Here's the right lobe, large right lobe. There's the gallbladder peeking underneath. Now, up here, well, if you turn the liver around, there's a lobe in this area called the caudate lobe with a C. And then you can see it here called the quadrate lobe, which it actually looks like a little square. It's right next to the gallbladder. Now, these two branches, here is called the hepatic ducts. There are actually two of them. This here is called the common bile duct, and the duct that's coming straight off of the gallbladder is the cystic duct. And the gallbladder stores bile. Liver cells produce bile. It drains, they produce it. It's closed off on the end of the common bile duct, and then the bile backs up into the gallbladder. And that's kind of showing, this is showing the process of how liver cells produce bile. Bile is like a green pigment. We'll go over this in lab. But so you pull this back. Here's the gallbladder. Here's the cystic duct, the common bile duct, which comes down and dumps into the small intestine. And then there's the two I was telling you, the hepatic duct. We call it the hepatic duct, but it kind of has a left and a right. But liver cells produce bile. It drains down to here. This is closed, and it backs up into the gallbladder. So bile is released in response to fat and the chyme from the stomach entering the small intestine. There's some gallstones. Gallstones are actually made of cholesterol. And here is, and we're about to talk about CCK. This is cholecystokinin, right there, cholecystokinin. It's just showing, and here's secretin, but when acidic chyme that has fat and everything else enters this area, secretin gets released. So that's a sodium bicarbonate hormone. And then cholecystokinin is also produced. And it's showing it coming back around, and it's causing the gallbladder to release bile. Now, cholecystokinin also controls the pancreatic enzymes. So how does bile work? So I showed you where the gallbladder is. It is pear-shaped. Like I said, the duct, which is a hollow tube coming off, is called the cystic duct. So bile is a greenish yellow pigment. It's got bile pigments, bilirubin, bile salts, and cholesterol. Dramatic pause. So what does it do? It emulsifies fats. What does that mean? It coats these large globules of fat and breaks them into smaller globules so that the body can then break them down. Now, I apologize. Let me find... Here, these are some great pictures for when we get, and I'll show you this at the end, but where is... That's showing all the detailed breakdown, and maybe it might be, okay, might be for another day, but that's, yeah, the bile helps break down the big globules into smaller ones. It is controlled by cholecystokinin, which fat entering the duodenum stimulates that to release cholecystokinin, is the hormone, and the hormone causes the gallbladder to release bile. And then once the food is gone, cholecystokinin is shut off. Okay, and so, yeah, it circulates around. I did show you that, this picture, and causes the gallbladder to release bile. And I'm going to start with the small intestine next, and we'll finish everything out.